Hello and welcome back to the Whiskey Closet. My name is Kevin, and tonight I want to find out which of these so-called Christmas bourbons is the best one. Let's roll the credits and then I'll introduce the bottles. Here we go. All right, the two bourbons in question are Angel's Envy Finished Rye. This is rye whiskey finished in Caribbean Rum Casks. And the other is Midwinter Night's Dram. This is Act 8, Scene 9. I don't own a bottle of Midwinter's Night Dram, but a friend of mine, Steven, gave me a little sample, and I'm very thankful. Thank you so much. Okay, so both of these are often people refer to them as just being Christmas in a glass. I'm going to taste them. Find out just, what I think about them, see if I have a preference. These are already scrambled up, so I shouldn't know which one is which. And let's dive in and give them a shot. Here is glass number 1 of supposedly Christmas goodness. It smells like rye. I don't know why people say that it's Christmas goodness. People say they smell it and it just makes them think Christmas. It's sitting by the side of a fire. I'm down with that idea, but let's see. Definitely got a rye nose, getting some herbal notes, getting just a touch of kind of a eucalyptus thing, getting a little bit of a rye spice, maybe a little bit of kind of a vegetal note, some nice baking spice type stuff in there too, clove type stuff. Whoa. Whoa. Wow. Huh. I think I kind of get the Christmas thing. There is so much decadent spiciness in this. And it's really making me think of like, I'm not sure, I was going to say like a Christmas dessert, but no, maybe like a bread pudding or something. Oh, wow. Wow, that is so interesting. It starts so sweet and it's rich, and that sweetness stays the whole way. And the finish is crazy sweet. And then in the middle, underneath that sweetness, it starts to bloom with this spiciness. It starts as immediately I was like, oh, it's kind of a rye spice. But then all these different spice characteristics come in that I'm not sure I've ever tasted before in a whiskey like this. And yeah, very reminiscent of something kind of desserty. And then I'm almost getting something that makes me think of like an orange rind, maybe kind of like a little bit of a burnt kind of orange rind character. That's really nice. I don't feel like the nose sets me up for what I'm getting on the palate. I'm not sure I actually really like the nose, but the palate I like. That is simultaneously so sweet and so intense. The spiciness is very pleasant, and there's enough of an oak impact, especially sort of like tail end of the mid palate, that it sort of really holds it all together. That's very nice. I think it's time to venture into glass number 2. Oh, this is just, what? This is totally different. What the heck? These noses couldn't be more different. What is that? That's making me think of like a vanilla and cinnamon frosted flake cereal. Holy smokes. Oh, so much like clove, like Easter dinner with the ham with all the cloves poked in it. Wow, this is crazy different. What in the world? Wow, what is that? Wow, so much honey and so much savory spice again, but totally different. I'm coming back to vanilla, like a strong vanilla impact, wrapped in all of this beautiful spiciness. It's like on the tip of my tongue. It's really making me think of something and I can't quite place it. That's really nice. Never had anything like it. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Well, these are both definitely Christmas in a glass. I'm going to dip back into A. Oh, I don't like this nose. This nose it's a little funky, little like wet dog. Little wet dog. Oh, no wet dog in that palate though. Wow. Okay. Much more of what I expect when I think rye out of glass A. Glass B is shocking. I don't know why it seems so different. I'm not getting things that I normally would expect from rye, but glass A, I'm getting a lot of notes that I expect as being rye, but then surrounded in all those sort of more Christmassy aspects that I already talked about. I really like that palette. That is so nice. And dropping back into glass B. Okay, so where I don't like the nose on A, the nose on B, I do like. It's almost maybe too strong. I gotta say, it continuously now is reminding me of cinnamon frosted flakes. So sweet. This is a tough call in terms of trying to pick a favorite here. I feel like overall, I might be leaning more towards glass B, but the only thing going against it is how sweet it is. This is such a dessert. It's wild. And for all the spice that it has going on and a nice little kind of barrel tingle that happens throughout, the sweetness is so intense. The nose of glass B also sets you up for what the palate tastes like, where I don't feel like the nose and the palate of glass A matched, which isn't necessarily bad, but it's kind of surprising. Good gravy, that's nice. Man, I wish it was snowing outside. I wish there was 10 feet of snow out there and I had a rip-roaring fire going and I was just snowed in for a day and just cuddled up in front of the fire with this glass. Yeah. Or this glass. Sure. Very interesting. Glass A has a lot darker notes, maybe more of a caramel sweetness up front versus the like really strong bright vanilla sweetness. But yeah, very interesting how different they are. This is all I have left after the tasting. This took me so many sips to try to figure out where I'm at. I'm trying to decide on a preference here and I'm really waffling hard. There's so much to like in both of these glasses, and honestly, they're very different. Either of these definitely fits the bill for a Christmas rye, a Christmas whiskey. No question about that. Which one would I rather have? Ooh, I don't know. It's got less happens on the palate, whereas there's a big development that happens in glass A. Glass B leads with that sweetness, brings in some of those savory, spicy notes, ends with that sweetness, just a simple kind of triangular thing. Glass A, the palate on that developed a lot more. It went through a bunch of different phases of savory, spicy things before kind of ending again and reminding you about that it was sweet. I'm torn. Overall, that kind of complexity, that kind of flavor profile that takes you on a journey, that's always what I prefer. And certainly Glass A had more of that going on. But I don't enjoy the nose as much. The nose doesn't, and I don't dislike it. I said it's kind of wet doggy and I'm getting a certain amount of funky kind of character to it. Nothing really bad about that. It's not something where I'm going, oh no, it's not like that. But when I compare it to the nose on B, there's a big difference there. Okay, I'm gonna pick a preference. It was super hard. Either one would make me happy, but I'm gonna say I've got a preference for Glass A. Let's find out what it was. Glass A is Midwinter Night's Dram, and Glass B is, of course, the Angel's Envy Rye Finish. Very, very interesting tasting. Okay, these are both really hard to find. The Midwinter's is significantly more difficult to find than the Angel's Envy. Okay, I've gone to the internet for some help on placing what other people have said that they're tasting in these things, because I really did have a hard time really coming up with the words for what I was tasting. I found a couple interesting things. Let's start with the Angel's Envy, since that one was probably the one that was really throwing me for the loop the most. According to Breaking Bourbon, we're talking about gingerbread and molasses and maple sugar candy, sickly sweet marshmallow, cotton candy-ish flavors. Interesting. So I could see gingerbread maybe, but like super crazy sweet gingerbread, which is probably why that didn't enter my mind. Molasses surprises me. It didn't seem that dark and heavy. Maple sugar candy, I could buy that maybe. Gingerbread is probably the best one just in terms of like where did all those interesting baking spicy notes come from? Other notes, I'm getting brown sugar, nutmeg, grain, candy corn, and butterscotch, vanilla custard. Butterscotch I could see too. I like this note too. Snickerdoodle cookies. And I love this note. Maple syrup covered French toast sticks. Yeah, that's pretty good. Maple syrup French toast. That really feels pretty decent. All right, now let's talk about the High West Midwinter Nights Dram. Here's some notes I found for that. Nose of sawdust, wet wood, and cherries and caramel sweetness. That I could buy. That's similar to what I think I was experiencing. The palate is rye spice. I had a lot of rye spice on that too. And then cinnamon, vanilla bean ice cream, and figs, and leather. So I like that description too. That one makes a lot of sense. That's from the Whiskey Wash. More notes on Midwinters. This one is from the Whiskey Shelf. A lot of honey, dark cherry, and syrup with red fruitiness, licorice, anise, fennel, cinnamon, and oak. I think that's not far off. Some of those savory, spicy characters that I was describing may have been more in the sort of licorice and fennel kind of space. Both of them very expensive though, around $100. Are they worth it? I think they are. Super crazy unique. Definitely a fun sort of special occasion thing, like Christmas, New Year's, winter holidays, any sort of thing like that. Pulling this out and sharing it with people. They're both incredibly unique. Goodness, that was fun. I would be very happy with either of these in a glass. I'm sticking with a slight preference for the Midwinters though. I did really enjoy that pour tonight. So this has been another episode of the Whiskey Closet. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time. Merry Christmas.